Hey guys, Furum here, and today I have a very special video for you all. As I forgot to begin the Twin Mill Championship, I asked people to submit videos of their own of their multiplayer races. At the beginning of each race, you will see who submitted that race. We begin with a clip from Ikafeng, who is showing his tuning, which is 0505 and 4040, to bring him to a rank of 1390. This first race is on Area 51 against a Sin R1 and a Camaro, so the Twin Mill has decent acceleration, better than both of those cars, even with zero acceleration upgrades. It also has decent nitro efficiency and decent handling. However, its drifting radius is pretty wide and its speed is very bad for its rank. It's only going 241 at this rank of 1390, where the Cigarist can go 272 or 30 miles per hour faster, the Camaro can go 50 miles per hour faster, and the SLK can go 85 miles per hour faster. The Sin R1, which by the way, I got the final blueprint for recently and I will be testing soon, and the Camaro both went the long way at the beginning of this race. That is why they have not managed to catch up yet. However, you will see throughout the race that they do start to slowly appear on the map. Thankfully, this is a one-lap race, so maybe the Twin Mill will have a chance. What do you guys think? As you can see, the Camaro and Sin R1 are back there catching up quite quickly now. So the Sin Mill's good nitro efficiency, which is one of its best traits, allows it to stay in nitro for a long portion of this section here. However, the Trezor has even better nitro efficiency, one of the best in the game. I have almost managed to get that car, and I will be doing a video on it once I get it. So the Camaro managed to catch up fairly close in the end, but because it was a one-lap race and he went the long way at the beginning, the Twin Mill managed to beat him, as well as the Sin R1. And he beat a couple of Max Pro D-Class cars in multiplayer as well that are not very good. This next race was submitted by LucķY CHAUDHRY. He is against a Cigarist and a Vulcan on Barcelona. His Twin Mill is also at a rank of 1390 with the tuning shown at the beginning of the video. He is using kilometers per hour, so hopefully this will satisfy some of you who have been asking me to use kilometers per hour. Even though when I make a video, I will not be using that because I always use miles per hour because I am American. And so kilometers per hour are kind of unnatural to me. So the SLK has of course managed to get way far ahead because he is at least 80 miles per hour faster than the Twin Mill at this rank. But because of the Twin Mill's good acceleration, the Cigarist and Vulcan are still behind. However, there is also a Camaro in this race. I did not see him at the beginning, but he is the dot that is just back there catching up fairly slowly. Now, as we'll see at the end of the race, he was an unboosted 1423 Camaro. An unboosted Camaro is not nearly as powerful as a boosted Camaro because the boost of the Camaro gives at least 15 miles per hour, which is a significant difference. So even though this was a two-lap race, the Camaro never managed to catch up, and the Twin Mill finished in second place. So let's see what the ranks were of all the other cars in this race. So the SLK was at 1410, the Camaro was at 1423, the Cigarist was at 1388, and the Vulcan was at 1405. This race was submitted by Shopping Trolley Twin Turbo, and he is running extra tanked. As you may have seen at the beginning, there is an SLK in this race. Can we hold him off as well as a Camaro on 2 laps of San Diego Harbor? Well, we will see. Tracks like San Diego Harbor Reverse, which is what this one is, are some of the best tracks to target Camaros and SLKs on because this is number one, a fairly twisty track, and number two, that big ramp at the beginning as well as all the other ramps in this map do not allow cars like the Camaro and the SLK, which have very slow acceleration, to get much up to their speed. So the SLK is coming up fairly close behind us at this point, and the Camaro is not far behind him. But because those two cars have terrible drifting, the Twin Mill was able to get around the corner a lot better because the driver micro drifted around it, something the Camaro and SLK cannot do very well, and thus they are off the map again. So we are coming up to the end of the first lap, and somehow the twin mill manages to stay ahead of the Camaro and SLK and comes in first. That's not something you see very often, beating a Camaro and an SLK in one race, and interestingly enough, the Camaro was in second and the SLK was further back. And Twin Turbo in his twin mill managed to also beat a 1478 TVR Cigaris. So this race was submitted by Biplab Dhungana. I am sorry if I pronounced your name incorrectly. The M14A tried to knock him down twice at the beginning here, but apparently the twin mill has decent armor, and so it was able to avoid getting knocked down and pull into first position early in the race. I just want to let you all know I received many more submissions than I could actually fit in a video, so if your clip did not get put in the video, I am very sorry for that. But if I put all the clips in, it would end up being 20 to 30 minutes long. So I chose one really good race from as many people as I could, and so that way, as many people got into this video as I could, and it'd still be at a reasonable length. So coming up here, we witness something that is extremely rare for the twin mill. A skid, which in turn allows the TVR Cigaris to get past, but it is a one-lap race, and the Cigaris cannot take the turn up here very well, because the Cigaris has an extremely wide drifting radius, possibly even wider than the twin mill. I do not exactly know. But Chaudhry managed to take the turn extremely well for such a terribly drifting car, and although he lost to a TVR Cigaris, he did manage to beat two BMW M2s, which at this rank are past their optimal rank, but are still a good 10 to 15 miles per hour faster than this car. And he also beat an M14A who did not have a tuning kit. Now for our next race, which was submitted by Voiddar. It is the first of two races in this video on Sector 8, which actually turns out to be one of the twin mill's better tracks because of the big turn at the end that some of the high-speed, terrible drifting cars cannot get around. And even though this car can't get around it that great either, it still can get around it better than those cars, as we will see. While this race plays out, I'd just like to say a little about the Trezor, the new C-Class car that is in the championship. I'm pretty sure it is not going to become a new C-Class king on any track, because while it has extremely good acceleration and extremely good nitro efficiency, its speed is kind of lacking, especially when you consider that the other high-end C-Class cars go good 5 to 10 miles per hour faster than it. And even though it looked like it would be a good car for multiplayer, because it has very bad upgrade rank percentages, it is not going to be so. That is kind of unfortunate. But of course, I will still be making a video about it. So a Camaro has now managed to catch up nearly to us here, but because the twin mill can take the turn better than the Camaro, the twin mill manages to pull away again, and so because it's one lap, it finishes ahead of the Camaro, who was just a bit higher than this 1398 twin mill by 22 points. He was a 1420 Camaro. Now for another race on Munich. This one was submitted by Jeffrey Xing, and there is another Cigaris in this race, just like there was on the other Munich race. Kind of interesting. This time, we are starting off with the variant of Munich that has the turn at the beginning, and Jeffrey managed to take it very well, better than the Cigaris back there, which gives the twin mill a good head start. However, as I said earlier in the race, the 1390 Cigaris is a good 30 miles per hour faster than this car. So you will see him start to catch up fairly quickly throughout the race. He is that green dot back there. And this Cigaris, being at a rank of 1493, was even faster, probably 35 miles per hour faster than this car at least. The way that the twin mill is going now is actually a fairly good shortcut that can be found on all versions of Munich except for rapid transit. It is good to learn the shortcut going on both ways on Munich because it may give you an advantage over some of the people that do not know the shortcut. Unfortunately, that Cigaris did as well, and he managed to pass the twin mill just around 10 seconds before the finish line and finish first, not too far ahead though. As I said earlier, he is at a rank of 1453, which is a lot faster than the 1421 twin mill. Now, for our final race, we have the second Sector 8 race in this video, this time against a Camaro and two BMW M2s. This should be interesting. It was submitted by Violet Driver, and he is running double tanked. At the beginning, the Camaro falls back because of its very slow acceleration, but because of the M2's quite decent acceleration, they managed to get ahead. However, they are not pulling all that far ahead, which is quite interesting. So now it's time for me to give my general review of this car. While it is the fastest Hot Wheels car, it is probably one of the most useless because it has no Season 9 race, no mastery, and it does not do that great in multiplayer. The skilled twin mill drivers in this video were able to pull out quite a few victories though, even against cars that were much faster than themselves, so good job to you all. So now we only have this one M2 ahead of us because the other M2 back there did not actually manage the jump into the vortex, but he is catching up quite quickly. Now this pink M2 that is up here does not make the turn very well, and goes off the edge and wrecks, allowing the twin mill to slip by into first place and finish ahead of two M2s and a Camaro. So thank you all for watching, please like the video if you enjoyed, and let's give a hand to all these twin mill drivers. And please consider subscribing so as not to miss a single multiplayer video. And I will see you all later. Goodbye!